Hi, this is Jim Musser with Upstream Ministries, and this is episode 5 on my Views from Downstream channel. And I welcome you. If you're a first time viewer, check out my other 4 videos. Hoping to get a lot more as we go along in this year of 2025. And last time I talked to you about parenting and becoming an expert basically in following Jesus, at least trying to attain greater expertise. As I said, we're not any of us going to be experts at that, but we can be much better than often we are. And I wanted to talk today about some ways in which we can actually start making some progress towards that. But let me ask you a question. How much, if you're a regular churchgoer, how much do you walk away with that you can apply to your life from a sermon in a particular week? Do you even remember a day after or 2 days after what the pastor even preached about? And my experience with churches is that the main focus of teaching is during that 30, 40, 50-minute sermon on each Sunday morning. And then you're left to figure out what to do with it. And I cite the difference between like listening to a sermon and training. And training is very different. In my book, Letters from Downstream, which will be coming out hopefully in this spring or early summer, I write about the example of a woodworker who is wanting to teach other people how to do woodworking. And so does that woodworker basically get together in a classroom and talk about woodworking, and that's it? He just talks about woodworking and then sends his students away to do whatever they want to do with it. I doubt if we'd have many woodworkers in our society if that's the way woodworking was taught. No, woodworking is training. And the woodworker will maybe give some lectures on woodworking and what that is, but he will do some instruction. And that instruction will include getting the tools and identifying those tools that you use in woodworking and what they're for. And then he'll show students how to use them. He will demonstrate how to use them. And then he will let them practice how to use them. And then eventually they will learn how to use them in a real world way in making, say, a cutting board or and putting together a cabinet, whatever it is. But they will get that from actually doing the work, not just listening to a lecture. And basically, that's what sermons are. It's not that they're not of value, they are. The problem is that the local church, as we know it today, has basically relied totally on that. And so as a parent, I'm not surprised if you're struggling with how to raise your kids spiritually because you've never been taught. And so the first step in learning how to disciple your kids is putting yourself under people who can disciple you. And that may be one of the staff in your local church. It may be, and more likely may be, a person you know who you respect for their spirituality, their wisdom, their knowledge of the scriptures. And you can just talk with them and say, I have some deficits in my spiritual life and I need help. And you work out an arrangement where you start meeting with them and they teach you. They can teach you how to pray. They can teach you how to study the Word. They can teach you what it means to look more and more like Jesus. But you're not going to truly learn what you need to know by just sitting in a seat on a Sunday morning and listening to a 30 to 40-minute talk, no matter how good it is. How many times have we heard sermons about sharing the good news, sharing the gospel? And we can hear those, but how many of us then go out and share the gospel? We're not necessarily trained to do that. We're just told we ought to do it. And what ends up happening often is we are just afraid to do it because we aren't sure how to do it. And so we need that training to be able to do what we are called to do in the church and in our Christian lives. And the other thing that you can do is you can take an honest look at your spiritual life right now. You can do kind of an evaluation. How often do you read the scriptures? How well do you know the scriptures? How often do you pray? Do you really know how to pray besides giving thanks at a meal time? Those kinds of things are essential for you to be able to pass those along to your kids. And so let me encourage you, if you feel totally inept, unprepared to really disciple your kids, then seek out help. Because again, you have a window of opportunity with your kids that you need to exploit in a good way by helping them learn how to follow Jesus and what it means. And if you don't know how to do that, then you can't teach them. And so please seek out people that can help you to learn. And there's plenty of resources out there that you can get and will help you. And again, you're not going to be perfect, and you just need to realize that, but you need to start that and let your kids see it. And kids are tenderly usually are full of grace, and you can always say, you know what, I didn't really do that well. Let's try it again. So don't be intimidated by the fear of making mistakes. You're going to make mistakes, but you just need to get started. And so I really encourage you to do that. And we'll talk a little bit next time on some more ideas about that. In the meantime, have a great day.